Hey guys, everyone, Ryuu here, and today I'm doing a very different video setup, as you can probably immediately tell from both the thumbnail and just overall video setup that I have. Today's video, of course, I'm going to be doing a little video that kind of requires me to record in this fashion, so that's why I'm recording this way. So, let's begin. Today's video, I'm going to be discussing, my character Ryuu, because I'm a selfish motherfucker. No, I'm kidding. But in all seriousness, I wanted to do a video discussing Ryuu and kind of the meaning behind his design. Mainly because honestly, I've never really had any questions about it, but I figured I just might as well talk about it because I feel like it would be a fun little video topic. You know, since there's so much negativity in the world, I figured this would be fun to talk about, kind of type of thing. This is English. Anyway, so yeah. Also, I'm doing this video as like a test in general to see how well I actually do this shit, so hopefully it goes well. So yeah. So the origins of Ryuu, like his character, like where I first, I guess, started in making him was actually, it's like the story that like most furries in the furry fandom recommend highly against. But basically how I started originally making Ryuu was I made his suit before I made his character. That's basically how it went down. Like, I never, there was a point in my life where I was going through a lot of shit, and I was mostly depressed for a good chunk of, really between the years of, when I was about 11 to 14, I was dealing with some shit. And even beyond that, I was dealing with some shit. So, oh, I decided to try and make a character that that wouldn't necessarily be toxically positive, but was a character that was like a symbol of me trying to get over some depressing moments in my life. Basically, me trying to cope with some depressing stuff in my life at the moment, since I was dealing with some shit at the moment. So yeah, that's basically the origin of why I started him. And so I decided to make a suit to reflect a positive manner. And so, yeah. I went to my local fabric store and bought some furs that were. I mainly chose some brightly colored furs, but I also chose some really cheap furs at the same time. Mainly because at the time my mom set a limit on how much I could spend. So I decided to just kind of go with some cheaper furs that were also really brightly colored. Because originally he would have been gray, but I decided to go with brightly colored furs because one, they were cheap, and two, they were just, they didn't cost very much. Actually, that's the same thing. What am I saying in this video? They didn't cost very much, nor did they were very colorful and positive, and that's kind of what I needed in my life at that moment, was some positivity. So I went with those furs because they were brightly colored and very happy. And yes, the colors I originally chose were a very bright green, which is very unlike the green that I use today on Ryuu. A bright pink, and a very brightly colored blue. Like, actually, it was like a cyan blue that I used originally, I think. Actually, no. It wasn't cyan. It was actually a royal blue that I used originally on Ryuu. That I decided to go with because somehow those colors really spoke to me. And looking back, I kind of see where and why those colors really stood out to me. Mainly because of the fact that, when I was first originally using those colors, the meaning behind the colors, well, at least now, the meaning behind the colors, not back then, but the meaning behind the colors now, was basically because they symbolize things such as my gender and sexuality. They both come from two different sources. First of all, the colors in general actually have a meaning to them, and the meaning behind the colors is my gender and sexuality. The pink, for example, represents stereotypically, pink represents femininity, blue represents masculinity, but the green, on the other hand, was actually an interesting one, as it symbolizes more of a non-binary type of stance, which is kind of what I am a little bit. So the reason why I chose all three of those colors together into one character mess was because is really it was like I feel like it was like somehow in my conscious mind, like behind my conscious mind, like unconscious mind, English. It's like I just wanted to choose colors that were like not exactly like they weren't necessarily always feminine nor masculine. Like I just chose colors that I felt like really fit him and well fit me as well at the time. So yeah, well fit me like especially even later on. That's why I still use the same colors and design as of right now. Well, for the most part, like some things have changed, but not much. Like most of it has stayed the same for the most part. So yeah, and yeah, that's kind of really the big meaning behind his design was just it was really gender. It was also a little bit about my sexuality too, because I have recently found out that I am polysexual, which if you don't know what that means, polysexual from what I understand is basically where you're attracted to many genders or multiple genders, but like only a few, like not all of them, not most of them, just a few. Like for example, I'm attracted to mostly men, non-binary, and like basically people in between that range is what I'm mostly attracted to. I'm not really attracted to feminine people, unfortunately. Sorry, y'all. Well, I would date someone who's a guy who's more feminine, but I would really only date a man. Sorry. Which explains a lot, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, yeah. So anyway, yeah, that's basically all I really wanted to discuss in this video. Well, and that's kind of the main thing I wanted to get across was just the fact that like Ryu's design has a lot of personal meaning in him. And I know when you first look at him, you're like, how the hell does this have any personal meaning? Like, how? And, well, for starters, where his personal meaning comes from is the fact that, well, one, he was created during a time of, like, me struggling and dealing with some really uncomfortable thing. Well, not uncomfortable, but some really rough things at the time. Like, I was dealing with a lot of, like, mental stuff at the time. I guess is the best way I can describe it. And overall, I just kind of like Ryu is built out of like trying to make myself more positive about myself versus more negative. And yeah, and overall, I just wanted a positive character to help bring me up in dark times. So yeah, that's kind of the origin of Ryu, believe it or not. And yeah, that's all I really want to discuss for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope you enjoyed this new little video format thing. And yeah, and I might be doing more videos like this in the future that are similar to this. And yeah, again, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, then click that like button, subscribe, and do all the other things like before. And see y'all dudes in the next one. See y'all laters. Bye.